Now let's talk about your personal profile, since that's likely the first place that you'll be found. It might be helpful to look at your own while we review this list, so go ahead and pull it up. Now, here are some of the key things that you'll want to check. First of all, as I mentioned in the last section, you'll want to have a profile photo, but let's talk a little bit more about what that profile photo should look like. So obviously you should have one, because typically if you don't, then your profile is likely to be ignored. And it should not be your wedding photo or one of you in that boat during your last vacation or with somebody obviously cropped out of it, unless, if you happen to sell boats, then maybe that could work. Don't include your kids, your spouse, your significant other, or your pets. And while we're very proud of you for running a marathon, save that one for your Instagram and just use a professional headshot on your LinkedIn. We're looking for something very simple with you ideally wearing something appropriate for business, looking straight on at the camera. Don't give us that pensive off camera gaze or try to look too artsy unless what you do is artsy. Don't crack up laughing. Don't use an illustration, and please don't crop the picture so close to your face that all we can see is your pores. Just look straight at the camera and smile. You really want to appear as if you're at a networking event, because LinkedIn is your digital networking vehicle. So next up is your banner image. So if you have that boring default blue LinkedIn banner, then you can really do better. So if you're not graphically inclined, then this might be the perfect spot for a photo that depicts you doing something related to your business. So maybe you are speaking at an event, or you have a picture of your company's building, or a landscape of your city, or a picture. If none of that works, then you can download an abstract photo from a royalty-free site like Pexels.com or Pixabay.com that will at least show you tried. And ideally, if you or someone you know has good graphic skills, then create a banner or a collage of something that really represents you. A more meaningful graphic that includes text, that has your specialty or contact information, to save visitors to your page the trouble of having to click around in order to get to your contact information. If they want to connect, it's right in front of them. Next up is your headline. And when you show up in someone's search results, remember that they'll see your name, your headline, and your location and your current position, as well as your headshot. That's it. That's all the information that they have in front of them to decide whether they should click through to view your profile. So whatever you have there, it needs to look good. Now, your headline is a very essential part of your profile, so you'll want to use keywords in order to increase your likelihood of being found. You can start by identifying 2 or 3 keywords that work for your industry that people might use to find you. So, for example, think about different ways that people might express the same industry term that they would use to find you. So, if you're an investor, maybe you use both venture capital and private equity if both of those would apply to you. So think about all of those types of ways that you might want to be found. Now remember, you have 120 characters to play with here, so you really can use all of them, and I do suggest that you do that. When you're adding multiple keywords, it's helpful to break them up with a vertical line or a star or some other type of symbol. So for mine, for example, I have fractional CMO with a break, fractional CEO with a break, startup and small business marketing and strategy. All of those things are keywords. So when you're constructing this part of your profile, there's some options. The first option would be your position serving these types of clients: service 1, break; service 2, break; service 3. Second option might be your position specializing in, list the types of services; 4, list your target clients. Or number 3 might be need a, list your service, list your position, helping whoever your target clients are to whatever problem that they need to solve. Or you might have position, city, service keyword, another service keyword, another service keyword, another service keyword. So these are all some ideas that you can use in order to really personalize this headline and make it more likely for you to be found. And you can check the downloadable PDF for those options. Now, the next section that you'll want to work on is your About section. And here you have 2,000 characters to work with. But remember that in addition to the algorithm, real humans are actually going to read this. So if you include just a massive block of text without breaks, then they may not bother. So just like whenever you're writing an article, you want to make sure that you make your points within the first couple of lines and break up the text with bullets and line breaks, however it makes sense, in order to still support your narrative but make it very easy to scan. Try not to make your keywords too obvious, but you do want to include them here as well. And this is a section where you focus on describing your skills and accomplishments. You're not rewriting your resume here, but you are hitting the highlights of what makes you stand out so that somebody will want to connect. But think of this a bit like your personal 30-second commercial at a networking event. One common mistake that many people make is writing their About section in the third person. Something along the lines of, Bob has a 20-year history of corporate turnarounds. Well, you wouldn't refer to yourself in the third person when networking, so don't do it on LinkedIn either. Remember, this is your personal introduction. So start your About section off with something punchy that describes why you're special, because I know you are. You might say something like, cross-border investments are my forte. With an MBA from the University of Miami, I offer foreign investors access to venture capital and private equity deals that lead to profitable exits. Like website SEO, your keywords are going to count more when they're placed at the beginning of the About section, so take that into consideration in your writing. Within your About section, be sure to include strong messages that highlight the results that you've achieved. Use percentages, dollar values, team sizes, and whatever other stats help to emphasize your accomplishments. Describe the business problems that you solve and how you're unique. Tell potential contacts how you can help meet their needs. So, to sum up, first person and make it personal. Write it as if your target client is reading it. Avoid industry jargon, but do use keywords. So think about what people search for, but make it flow. Don't overuse them. Don't make it appear like you're stuffing keywords into your text. Use bullets to break up your text. Now, here's a good format just in general that you can think of as you're building your About section flow. First, what you do and how you add value to clients. What are the problems that you solve? Second, why you do what you do. What inspired you? Third, niches that you work with and problems that you solve. Fourth, what you're passionate about outside of the office. Now, this could be families, charities, sports, etc. And then a call to action, something about contacting you. So some of the example sections that you can use, and you don't need to use all of these, but the first would be to welcome a connection. So if you are a whatever, I would like to connect with you. Another section could be why ABC firm. Another section could be your team mission, your designations, your specialties, your professional highlights in the media if you've been in the press, and when I'm not working. So just think of that as a general flow to guide you as you create the About section in your profile. And you'll see the details for this in the downloadable PDF as well. So next up, we have the featured section. Now, a lot of people don't use this, but this is a critical profile section that often gets missed. This provides you with the opportunity to showcase your work. Now, please don't upload a copy of that legal brief that you're particularly proud of, but this is a great place to add a video of you at a speaking event, or a picture of you with a well-known political figure, or a copy of a press release, or a media mention, or you can feature one of your previous LinkedIn articles. So some of the types of media that you might want to link to or upload here would be videos, PDFs, such as your speaker profile, a white paper, an infographic, links to articles that you've written that have been published with public URLs, photos of your client receiving awards, photos of your client giving a presentation in front of a group, or a SlideShare presentation about what you do. So anything, just think about what would really emphasize your credibility in front of your audience. And then next up is the skills and endorsement section. You can add up to 50 skills to your profile, and your connections will be prompted to click a few of your skills that they endorse. Now, your goal is to try to reach 99 or more endorsements per skill. This is social proof, and it shows people who visit your page that you're the real deal. So start by listing your top 3 skills first, and keep your starting list to maximum a couple of dozen. It's easier to get endorsements for your core skills since that's how people typically think of you. Now, if you don't like which of your skills have the most endorsements, then you can move a lighter one up to the top 3 for greater promotion, because this is what the algorithm will push to your connections in order to ask for those endorsements. And don't forget to endorse others. So just like givers gain, they'll often endorse you back. Oh, and remember that only first degree connections can endorse you, so be sure to connect with them first. Next up is your experience section. This is going to look a lot like a resume. You should include here a summary of your current and your past positions, and keep each of these concise with only 2 or 3 sentences, and again, use your keywords. Link to the company's page for each of your positions, and be sure to highlight your achievements. So rather than telling people what you were responsible for, use action words to describe what you did. An example might be increase sales by 25% in the first 6 months. And these may seem obvious, but use present tense for your current job and past tense for your past jobs. Your profile URL is something else that demands your attention. And when you create your profile on LinkedIn, it often will include a combination of your name and a string of numbers. But the cool kids know that it looks much better to have a custom URL along the lines of your first name and then your last name. Now, you can update this in the upper right-hand corner of your profile by clicking Edit, Public Profile, and URL. There's a number of other sections that you can include, and the law of reciprocity applies here too. But when you're asking for recommendations, it really helps to ask. So let me leave you with a couple of quotes about using LinkedIn. Now, the first is from writer Melanie Panola. One of the greatest things about LinkedIn is that it isn't the same kind of networking that happens at conventions, where you're wearing a name tag, trying to meet strangers, and awkwardly attempting to make small talk. LinkedIn is networking without the pressure. I also like this one from social selling evangelist Jill Rowley. Before LinkedIn and other social networks, in the sales world, ABC stood for always be closing. Now, ABC means always be connecting, because your connections lead to your next hire, to your next job, to your next lead, and to your next close. So to sum up your personal profile on LinkedIn, first, your personal profile represents your personal brand. It needs to include a professional headshot, a banner image, and a keyword-rich headline. Second, it's all about you. It should be in the first person, as if you were at a networking event. And also use a compelling story to describe your experience. So here you're telling your personal brand story, and include your key information first, because that's what people will see when they go to your profile and look at your About section. And then lastly, it's really all about your credibility. So take the opportunity on LinkedIn to feature your work, to include your skills, to seek endorsements, as well as include your experiences and recommendations. And with that, you should have a very compelling personal profile. And next up, we'll talk about how to build a business page that works.